So then, how many points will Iafallo have on this road trip, Rob?
Hey, should we start betting? You want to start throwing some money down, Mike?
No.
What's up, Kings fans? I'm Rodney. He's Rob. He's Mike. And this is LA Kings Fan Talk, where we know nothing. All right, boys. Kings started the season off strong with a 6-2 victory against the Golden Knights. Rob, what are your thoughts on Game 1?
Oh man, how awesome was that? It was fast paced, exciting. Obviously, when you win, it's just that much better. If we end up losing that game, it was still exciting to watch, right? I mean, who are those fast guys out there? Just so used to watching how slow we are the past few seasons, just to see us with jump in our step, and it was pretty awesome.
What'd you think, Mike?
I said it last time we talked, but addition of Dano is definitely going to help out Kopitar, right? 5 points.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, right.
The reason why he's laughing too, if everyone's just wondering what the hell, it's because that's exactly what I said. He was all about Kopitar with Dano coming. Dano's going to help all these young guys. Dano's going to help young.
Which he will.
And I said, well, how about helping Kopitar? That's the big one. And then now all of a sudden he's all about like if he came up with that thought on his own. So
The old guys look pretty good in that game.
Oh, yeah,
Kopitar, Brown, Dowdy.
first line Dustin Brown, like I said, still scoring. None of the kids are.
Yeah.
Canada's finest, Drew Doughty having himself a game. The only thing missing from that game was Arvidsson having a goal, but obviously it came later, so it's good to go. And the Russian kid looked great. Looked great on the power play, setting up Kopitar.
Yeah, what was his first entry into the zone? He goes between the legs. I'm like, oh, if he scores on this for his first goal, it's
Yeah,
going to be epic. But it didn't quite happen that way, but he does look very good out there.
he's definitely exciting to watch.
I, you know, I, when I get on message boards or you know fan chat stuff when we start talking about stuff, especially when about non LA, when you're just talking NHL stuff and you have to go in there as the only Kings fan talking about things. Just the lack of respect Anze Kopitar gets. And it's
Oh, for
like
sure.
to see him come out first game, everyone's he's old, he's old. They've been saying he's old for the last few seasons. And I know one game doesn't mean anything, but to go out there, hat trick it up, add 2 assists, and then after the game, throw on the LA Dodgers hat on because the Dodgers just won their game. It was pretty awesome. I mean, I couldn't be well, like I said about Kopitar is the same way I feel about Brown too. Those two guys are just I'll die with them to be my favorite Kings of all time, no matter what. I don't think anyone could ever take their place.
Not even Rob Blake.
That's Mike.
It's so funny too, just like you said, like Kopitar gets no respect around the league, man. The year he lost the heart race to Taylor Hall, it's like, come on, dude. He had 92 points. He plays center. Hall's a wing. He's up and down the ice. Look at his PK time and all the defensive play he does. Besides putting up 92 points that season, and then you see all these polls from around the league, top 10, top 20 centers, and he's like number 18 if he's even on the top 20 list. But I'm pretty sure he scored 51 points last year in 56 games, pretty much a point per player game.
I
Never
I,
gets mentioned.
I still don't
And he's a
understand
silky finalist every year.
how does a guy like Kopitar have over 1,000 points in a system that's not offensive with wingers his entire career that can't score 30 goals. I, where are all his points coming from? It's nuts to me. And then to throw in there, people just don't watch enough Kings hockey to understand how great of a defensive forward he is. He's the cliche of the 200-foot game. I mean, it is so stupid how many times we watch him go from one crease to the other crease and just and it's like he's loafing the whole time, right? But he's just an absolute animal. He's a horse.
I jumped on HF boards looking at the chats after that first game, and they were talking about how awesome Kopitar looks, after the first game. There was a Ducks fan that jumped on there and was like, man, I wish Getzlaff was 50% as good as Kopitar still is. And I'm like, Getzlaff is probably over there wishing he had 50% of the hair Kopitar still had. But no, but it was good to see the Ducks fans' envy of the Kings.
Yeah.
How do you guys think the defense looked as a whole in the first game?
I thought it looked great. I think we like the whole system worked is a thing, you know. We played how we want to play aggressive, so everything looked good, obviously, and we made. I mean, we just stifled Vegas the whole game.
What do you think first game of our power play unit 1?
I last year we started off well. It's still kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and sing the praises just quite yet. Just although we've had 2 games, we've scored, both games we scored power play goals. Um, I'm not going to sit there and sing the praises just quite yet because it's still, you know, kind of just off the half wall, back to the point. There's not, when I'm watching other teams play, and I see how dynamic they are with the
Right.
tic tac toe passes, and it's not just once. I mean, we can do it. Sure, we've done it here and there, but I'm saying consistently, these teams are just such high skill, move the puck around with such ease when they have the man advantage. It makes, if you're to watch a dynamic power play from another team and watch it side by side with ours, you'll realize how undynamic ours
Right.
is.
It's
So
very, very predictable.
yeah, but if we're scoring, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, who cares, right?
right. But when it starts going cold, it gets pretty frustrating.
Yeah, and I think it'll just come down to the second power play because again, the first power play is predictable, but if they're putting up points, cool. The second one's going to be the deciding factor because I mean we hit some injuries last year, and I think the first power play that started to suffer, and the second power play was doing nothing. So again, we'll see how that goes down the line. But it's hard. It's only 2 games, so
You
can't
know,
get too excited.
would be good on that first power play, right? Martin Firk lined up for a one-timer. Anyway,
Hey, and since you bring it up, while we're recording right now, he scored a couple goals, didn't he?
a couple goals last game.
Man, Edler's going to probably win his way into my heart a little bit, but he is a step slow.
He's a step slow, but he has that physicality that no other defenseman on the
But
King really has.
he's pretty freaking smart too. Good stick
Yeah.
work, big.
I was gonna say experienced. Like, he's a little
Yeah.
slow, but that experience comes
Yeah,
through.
but I'm saying he might be slow enough to where it's going to be a problem. I hope it doesn't get there. But
Right.
there's a couple of times when I see him skating not backwards, you know,
Right.
like most defensemen can. Like he turns around and says, "Oh shit!" You could see it in his face a little bit.
I don't know if you guys.
Well, I mean that'll be key to managing his minutes. Hopefully, they're rotating Mata in, so he's not playing every game. You know.
I don't know if you guys saw the time on ice over the first 2 games, but the Edler Walker line actually has like 1 minute more per game than the Roy.
Well, no, actually, they played a couple minutes more than Roy and Bjornfoot in the first game
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it was a couple minutes more.
Which I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Toby looked good. If especially if he's going to be a third pairing, if they're going to move them, basically call them the third pairing, I'm happy with that. Roy and Bjornfoot, awesome third pairing for sure.
What did you guys think about Cal Peterson's play first game?
I thought it was good. I'm no goalie expert, and I'm no hockey expert really either. So, uh, but there was a couple of goals or a couple of saves where it just seems like he's catching the puck and like moving at the same time a little too much, like towards the net. Like that one that they scored on, he should have made the save, but again, he like made the save and curved towards the net, and it got through him and into the net. So I just remember when his past 2 seasons, him being more positionally stable, I guess is the right word. And I didn't see that as much the first game.
He did fine. I mean, I'm not going to nitpick anything when it comes to goalies and winning. You know, he only gave up 2 goals. If in the second game the goalie only gave up 2 goals, we'd be walking away with points. So, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
In a second.
It's a
I mean,
3-2
I think,
3-2 league still, right?
Yeah.
no, I think he played good. I just for whatever reason, I remember him looking better last season. I guess so. It's probably just game one. That's what it is. But we'll see.
Was it?
Again,
Is it his new hairstyle throwing you off a little bit there?
Probably his new sick helmet is what it is.
Okay.
Moving in before we move into the second game, we're going to sit there and we're going to bash some people. I'm sure probably going in the second game because that's what Kings fans do when they lose, right? You get a bash. But in that win, that second line, who scored? Dano?
Yep,
Not Kempe, right?
correct. But Kempe had a nice assist.
And not Iafallo, right?
Yeah, but
Correct.
IFL had a great play where
But what?
to lead to that goal.
There was a simple question. Did he score?
No, he didn't.
Okay,
but
did Kempe score?
Kempe got an assist.
Negative.
No, but did they score goals?
Did not.
Okay.
But does that goal happen if IFL doesn't protect that puck, strip it, get it over Kempe?
Does that goal happen if the assist he got on Kopitar's goal, it was Kempe's goal? Oh, wait a minute. Kempe didn't score a goal. So, yeah, it doesn't happen.
I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of positives there.
Sure.
I mean,
There's going to be lots of positives because both the guys can skate like the wind. Both the guys are smart. Both the guys are fun to watch and they're dynamic and blah, blah, blah. They don't score. They don't score. We'll get to the next game, though.
All right, little side note. Cross-checking has been a big focus this year in the NHL, and the refs they're just calling everything that resembles a cross-check, right? So if you want to join in on the fun, go ahead and cross-check that like button, subscribe,
You are such a nerd.
Game 2. What'd you think?
Game
Rod?
2. I thought the Kings lost some toughness in their lineup before heading into that game. With Lemieux placed on the COVID list. I thought they went up against a team that was physical. It was a totally different kind of game. It was physical. It was grinding, unlike the first game. So, yeah, we were kind of exposed in the toughness element of our game. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think that led to us never really establishing the game we were able to play against Vegas, right? Like, it didn't seem like we didn't have that same forecheck. We didn't have that same speed. I mean, we were still in the game. It was a bad second period. We could have easily won that game, but again, kind of fell asleep in the second period. Rob's boy Doughty got caught up chasing Hartman, and then Hartman scored.
Bad.
Yeah, other than Kempe's hair, there was really no flow in that game. It was kind of an ugly game. I mean, the Kings' passing was off all game. It seemed like.
I mean, for the past 2 seasons, we've had troubles with the Wild, so it makes sense. And I feel like that was the perfect Kings game, right? Like, hey, we had a great first game, but we're all Kings fans, so let's take it back a notch real quick, get you back down to earth.
So after the game, Coach McClellan talked about some guys that were how do you put it, along for the ride, passengers. And then if you take a look at time on ice or whatnot, you might be speaking about Mikey Anderson, you might be speaking about Kaliev, you might be speaking about Kupari and Kaliev. Obviously, they're new kids, whatnot. So, I don't mind. But Mikey Anderson, he's the top line pairing, and Doughty's out there for 25, 26 minutes, and I believe Anderson was only out there for 15, and that was he was out there for the least amount of time out of all of Bjornfoot logged like a second more than he did even. So I don't know. I hope that's not I hope it's taken well in stride, because it's going to be tough scolding these young kids. You almost feel bad for them because you don't want them to break. You don't know how fragile they are. which one of them's going to get sent down? Is that just going to ruin them mentally or whatnot? But he deservedly so. I'm glad he right away, second game of the season, instead of going, hey, it's only the second game. We got things. I'm glad he right away he sat there and said, hey, it wasn't a good enough effort. We got too many guys watching the game and not playing the game, and I agreed with him. I was so it was frustrating, and a lot of people sit there and want to cry about our toughness. Oh, no Lemieux, we should have played Grunstrom, but instead we bring in the soft Kupari. Actually, none of that really matters. It's how about Minnesota's pretty freaking good. They're big, they're tough, they're physical, and it's a 3-2 game. We had one bad period. They scored them all in the second. If we just clean that up, we're right in that. We win that game if we clean that up in the second. So it is what it is. I 1-1. If I know 500 might not make the playoffs, but then again, in our division, who knows, right?
But if you look at the shots and the hits and the face-off percentage, it was pretty much even. The entire game, the game was pretty even all the way down. So,
yeah.
Which last year we probably would have got blown up. Your boy Kaprizov probably scored a hat trick on us, so it's looking a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Kings did a good job of containing him as well too, for the most part.
And speaking of which, Pacioretty in the first game, I guess he broke something. I don't know. Good.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Everybody saw Stone get injured. I didn't even see the Pacioretty thing.
He was doing some when he ran into Peterson too. That was just some bullshit right there.
Accidentally on purpose stuff going on.
Yeah. Yep. And then who's the big boy that we got into it with? Dumba. It was Dumba, right? Dumba.
Yeah. Dumba had the hit on Kempe.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Good for
and
your
then
boy.
Kempe got him back.
Kempe got him back. He got a good hit along the boards later in the game. But Rob, your boy Iafallo stepped up to the plate.
He's skated over here. I'm gonna help
Yeah,
Dak right in the face.
Yeah, no, they both went into the full clinch right away.
Look at us.
It was a more.
Not only can't we can't fight, we still can't score. Woo.
Yeah, that third line, Kachev is playing good, but I think that line is struggling without.
Are you gonna say Elias Anderson?
Yeah, without Elias Anderson forechecking, Velarde and Kaliev are skating at the same speed, and it's not working. They need somebody fast. That's why Moore got moved up, right?
Okay, but when did you see Elias Anderson?
Well, during preseason, so again.
Oh, exactly. So during preseason, I saw Velarde scoring. I saw Kaliev get a hat trick.
End of last season as well. They were playing good as well. Not when Vlad wasn't there, but
just they didn't score. That third line, they've sucked the first two games as well. I get it, but they're the third line, not the second line, right?
True.
Right. Fourth line didn't look that good either in this last game.
Yeah, the bottom six didn't look good. It looked good for game one, but not so much game two.
Oh, and while we're still on the second game, so happy that Arvidsson got a goal.
I was just about to tweet. I love that Arvidsson is so willing to shoot the puck. It's such a difference from the last few years. No, everybody wants to pass. Arvidsson is like shooting all the time. I love it. And I was going to tweet, I love that Arvidsson is so willing to shoot. He's going to get a goal soon. And then before I could tweet that, he scores the goal. So it was really good to see.
Yeah.
Arvidsson is the one guy on the team where the guys, all the fans in the 300s don't have the chance to say shoot.
Right.
Right.
Are we gonna say anything mean about Jonathan Quick, or are we just?
I thought he played well enough for us to win the game. He played well enough for us to win the game. I don't think he's gonna steal games like he once did.
Oh, I don't know. I Cal Peterson in net. We win that game. We at least tie that game.
It's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think part of it was on the defense more than Quick, but either way.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think he played bad.
Okay. Follow was a minus. I don't know how much. Kempe was a minus.
Well, because they didn't score, like you said. Kopitar and Dowdy still scoring.
Speaking of that, I mean, I love that they're scoring, but these young kids, they need to step up. Not even the young kids, the mid tier guys, like the iFollows, the Kempis. Why are we relying on the old guys? It's great that they're scoring, but we can't, put it all on them. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe
So and that's what I'm saying. So our next game, what's going to happen? Does Kopitar have to score every game?
Right.
Basically,
Right.
we may find ourselves back in the. We got a first line, and then we have three
Three
third
third
lines.
lines,
Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't score, we're gonna have to pull up Martin Firk from the rain so we can get some scoring, right, Mike?
Are they
Turcotte
doing? Are we
scored
doing
today
it?
too.
Is the rain
They-
2-0?
No,
They lost a shootout. Okay, so they're what 1-0-1.
yeah,
Turcotte has scored. Fagamo scored in the first game. Firk scored in the first game.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. If Kaliev needs some more seasoning, send back down. I would like to see it. Finisher exchange for a finisher, and I would like to see Fagamo come up. That'd be kind of cool. But
I don't know. I just feel like that line doesn't mesh well. The one that Caliav's playing on right now, the third line.
yeah.
All right, Rob. Any thoughts on the upcoming road trip?
Upcoming road trip. Predators obviously aren't the Predators of 5 years ago. I think we need to definitely get some points here. If we can win that game in Nashville, and then going into the back-to-back Friday and Saturday, Dallas and the Blues, both those teams, we do well against those teams. There isn't anybody that we're going to be facing where I go, oh man, here we go. But I think it's going to be measuring sticks. The first 10 games is all going to be measuring sticks, but listening to the pregame, when Jared Stoll starts talking, stuff like that. I like listening to former players talk. When they sit there and say, that's where teams really start meshing together, when they have to go on the road together, go eat after games together, they hang out in the hotel together, stuff like that. Be nice to see that kind of stuff go on, and because these kids are young. Listening to Mikey Anderson in that little interview before the first game, he was asked that question about what's going to be different, whatnot, and he was talking about how he really's never gone on a road trip before,
Right.
because of all the COVID stuff like that. So he's still looking forward to bonding and seeing what life on the road. He wants to know what it's like playing in the Forum in Montreal, and at Maple Leafs Garden and all that stuff. He hasn't experienced any of that stuff. So
Would love to see Arvidsson get a hat trick against his former team.
oh, that how awesome that would be.
I mean, I feel like 50 or 500 road trip is decent, but I want to get at least points in at least 3 of the games. You know what I mean? So win 2, maybe an overtime loss, whatnot. But I mean, I can see them winning 3 games. I'm not really afraid of St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis they're playing good right now. It's only been 2 games, but
And then so after that road trip, get together, talk a little bit about the road trip, whatnot, and then we get to talk about those Canadian teams coming in.
I'm just excited to see these teams that are. Well, we played like 4 or 5 different teams last year, and that's all we saw. I'm so excited to see new teams. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's interesting though what you said about Mikey Anderson's comments too, because none of those kids have played against any of those teams. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Sagan and Ben are what they used to be, but we'll see.
Right. And their goalie situation, I don't know. I don't think it's all that great in St. Louis. I don't. The Predators, like I said, that Picarini's gone. Arvidsson's gone.
Right.
It's just. I think we can pick up some points here. The next 4 games, I can see us. Let's call it 6. 6 of the 8 would be great.
Right.
So then, how many points will Iafallo have on this road trip, Rob?
Should we start betting? You want to start throwing some money down, Mike?
No. I got diapers to buy. I don't have money to throw around right now.
All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about the lower half of the defensive pairings, and with Mata being activated, when he does play in a game or two, based on the season so far, who do you think he's going to fill in for?
Well, not Willannon,
Good point. Good point.
because Willannon's gone bye-bye. He was picked up. He was claimed, right, off waivers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Buffalo.
the Sabres.
Buffalo. Ooh, and Buffalo's 2-0.
They're 2-0.
They're going to win it all.
Right? All the way.
So Mata, who's he coming in for?
Initially, before the season started, I was thinking he would, coach would have to throw him in there for Edler because Edler was going to get tired, old guy. But
Right.
Edler's looking good so far. I mean, I think that'll happen eventually, but you take Edler out, we have no physicality on the defense whatsoever. So I don't know.
Right, and you got to talk about the left side. So you're talking about Anderson. You're talking about Bjornfoot.
Yeah, so
Okay,
probably
so-
Bjornfoot.
I don't think they're
And
going to take
that's
those
why I'm
kids out.
starting to wonder about that passenger comment. Are we so mad at Mikey Anderson, Todd McClellan, that you're willing to? I mean,
You think Mikey Anderson was one of the passengers you mentioned?
he didn't. He stopped playing. He benched him. You didn't notice his time was just limited.
No.
He got the least amount of ice time than any defenseman in that game.
Mike, what are you doing with your right hand? Are you canceling your Mikey Anderson jersey order right now? What's going on over there?
I was going to look at my phone, but
Okay.
Does Mata just become a seventh defenseman, and we sit forward?
no, that's a horrible idea.
I'm not saying that's what they should do.
I could see that. I mean, he's played with Daddy before. It didn't work out that good in the beginning, but I could see them, now that you mention it, they could throw him out there with Daddy. He's played with them before. Maybe give him a second shot. Just to, I don't know, kind of give Anderson, try to get him playing better. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't see them taking out Anderson or Bjornfoot. I mean, they're the future, so
So you're going to take out Edler, a guy we paid money for.
yeah, because it's basically it's maintenance day. Like give him some time, because if we have ideals to be in the playoffs, we're gonna want him in the playoffs, and we're gonna want him to have legs underneath him in the playoffs. I feel like they're gonna showcase Mata as much as they can in games, and maybe move him at the deadline because some other team's gonna want him, and then pull somebody up from the minors to fill that spot, whether the seventh defenseman, whether it's Strand or whether it's Clegg. I think they're hoping that Strand, Clegg, or Dursey, one of them stands out in Ontario enough this season to make them move Mata at the deadline to get some asset back, and then have them rotate in 6th, 7th defenseman. Right? Doesn't that make sense?
No, but okay, I get it.
I feel like you were nodding a second ago and then you said no. I don't like, because why would you keep Mata? I don't know. I feel like Willan was just as good as him, right?
No, I agree with you. I mean, Edler and Mata, both left defensemen. Sure, we like Anderson, Bjornfoot. They're young, still need to see where they're going. So one of them's got to go, right? But that's not for a while.
Well, Mata's on his last year. Well, they're both on, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. They're going. One of those two guys will be gone at trade deadline.
It only makes sense.
Yeah.
Are they going to roll out the same third line next game? You think so?
I think Kaliev sits.
Kaliev either sits or he's on the fourth, but for sure they're moving more up into Kaliev's spot on the third line. That's happening. So at least for the next game, we'll see how it goes.
Hey, tell us what you think in the comments.
There you go.
Right.
You're such a nerd. You're such a nerd.
Hit that subscribe button.
What a nerd. Look at this guy.
Poke check, cross check. What else did he say? Slash.
Here, I got one for you. Ready for this? Here we go.
Spear.
All right, Kings fans. Don't forget to sucker punch that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more LA Kings talk in the future. Until next time, go Kings, go.